look up my junk. Oh, we look cute. Say something.
Something.
What's good, dough for degrees?
So what's it? Dough for degrees. I'm like, this is what we do.
Okay. Of course, I get to be myself on my YouTube channel. I don't see myself working for a network. Because then they cutting into my profit. And I become an employee.
They definitely gonna cut into your profit. Like, significantly.
And I can't be myself. Because you know I always say y'all. I don't care. I'm from the South.
Really?
Proud of it.
Danville.
Danville, Virginia. Rep
Yes.
my city to the day I die.
As James says, Danielleville.
Danielle Village. Ah, you a
He's
clown.
like, Danielle got a village named after her. I'm like, Danielle got a village name. He said, yeah, Danville. I'm like, really? That's what we're doing.
That's
Like,
funny.
yeah, it makes sense. Makes sense.
I know I got the college people like Danielle from Danville. I was like, I never thought about that, but that's true.
Mm-hmm. So, what's the first topic we're gonna talk about?
Just follow my lead,
All right, cool.
right?
Yep.
Welcome back to Dough for Degrees YouTube channel. My name is Danielle Jeffers, and I'm the founder of Dough for Degrees. Today I'm with my mentor and business partner and the Chief Development Officer of Dough for Degrees, Thomas Harrelson.
How's everyone doing out there? Hopefully everyone's doing well.
All right, so Mr. Thomas, we've known each other for 5 years now.
That's correct.
Today is August 8th, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Right.
We had a live double taping today at the Q show, the Quincy Harris show. Y'all make sure y'all check out that clip and the video, the vlog that's on this channel, because I'm going to upload one to this channel.
Today, we are joined by the In My Bag Tour. What is your name, sir?
My name is Corey Hackett Green, and I'm with my partners Kevin Stevenson and Danielle Jeffers.
Hello, how y'all doing?
Great, how are
All right. Okay, tell us about the In My Bag Tour.
So the In My Bag Tour is something that we decided to collaborate with as 3 entrepreneurial graduates from Virginia Tech, and we just decided that we wanted to take action within our neighborhoods. So on August 3rd, we were actually in Danielle's hometown of Danville, Virginia, giving away 250 pre-packed book bags and 100 gifts of appreciation to the teachers there as well.
Man, come here. That's great. So how long have you guys been doing this?
Well, we did our first event August 3rd in Danville, Virginia, and now August 17th, we'll be back in Philly.
What do you think is better, Danville, Virginia, or Philadelphia?
I can't compare the two.
That was smart. See? Politician, how can people reach out to you?
InMyBagTour.com. You can visit our website for pre-registration for students and teachers. And then also on Instagram, you can visit No More Interviews 777 for more content, and also on Facebook as well. So that's how you can reach us.
Man, well, thank you guys for coming, man. It's been another great week here on the Q. It's now time for
I want to spend some time talking about the maturation of Dough for Degrees from your perspective and your journey in mentoring me from the age of 17 until 22.
Ooh. Okay. So where do I start? Let's try the beginning. So when we first started communicating with one another, I knew that it was going to be, well, my perspective was that it was going to be a little bit of a challenge because of the age gap, the age difference. And communication styles is everything. And particularly with people of a younger demographic listen to older people, I know that may have been a challenge, but to your credit.
Thank you.
Because you made it easy.
Yeah.
You didn't have any preconceived notions of what business ownership was, of what entrepreneurship was. You took the mentality of, and which is the mentality that everyone should take. If I made a suggestion and I tell you to do something, you did it. And your mentality was, I'm gonna do what he says. If it don't work, then we'll address it. But if it works, I'm gonna keep doing it. And that's basically what allowed you to catapult yourself from just being a protege of mine to actually being a significant contributor to Virginia Tech when you got there, because you started Dough for Degrees as a freshman. So as you were progressing in your academic career, your business was also progressing. So that trajectory was going up in both aspects. So from the standpoint of the maturation process, by the time when you finish your freshman year, you had already had a year of Doe for degrees under your belt. However, your maturation process as a freshman going into a sophomore was like that of a senior, because of the guidance from not only just myself but other individuals that you were listening to who were not only entrepreneurs but faculty, esteemed colleagues that worked at Virginia Tech and things that you started associating with the adults. So your demeanor and your mannerism and the way you communicate and the way you articulate was like that of a professor, an entrepreneur, and not like that of a student. Not saying that the way students talk is counterproductive or not productive from the standpoint of a business owner. However, when you operate in that space as an entrepreneur, there's a certain level of conversation that needs to be taken upon that most students choose not to use. Not that they don't have the capability, they just choose not to do it because they don't have the proper example.
I agree. What he gave you all was basically a summary of our journey together. But I want to take it back to square one in terms of how we were introduced to each other. And so y'all hear me talk about my sister, my mentor, all the time, almost in every single video, because what a lot of people think, well, from my perspective, this is what I believe. A lot of people see me and they see my success and my accomplishments, but they don't know all the work that goes behind the scenes. And I can contribute that too to the fact that I'm a very private person. I'm a person who's obsessed with execution. And so when I get obsessed with the process of something, I'm not as reflective publicly as I could be, because I'm trying to learn as many things as possible. But my sister has always played a key part in our relationship, because you were her mentor before you were mine.
Right.
And so he was mentoring her through financial education services. Is that correct?
Yep.
And so she, this was my senior year of high school. So we're looking at 2014, 2015. My senior year of high school at George Washington High School in Danville, Virginia. And if you know me, if you know anything about my story, if you watched any of my old videos, and you know that was the beginning of my scholarship process, the beginning of my scholarship journey, that conversation with my parents. And my sister was very adamant about placing me in spaces and opportunities where I could grow, because she could see my development miles ahead. And she was very keen on planting seeds inside of me and nurturing them so that I would grow into the woman that I am today. And she said, I want you to meet my mentor, Thomas Harrelson, because I believe you can benefit from hearing from him, from learning from him. And so talk a little bit about that.
Well, basically what it boils down to when you're mentoring individuals, the process of mentorship is twofold. You mentor individuals from the standpoint of you want them to end up surpassing you, so that you can eventually learn from them, because the goal is to mentor them from the standpoint of teach them everything that you know, pouring everything that you can into them. But you're not going to be able to teach them everything, because they're going to have exposures, they're going to have trials and tribulations that they personally experience that they're going to grow from. And then they're going to go on and be introduced to people and grow and then surpass you, hopefully. So when it came down to that process, that was one of the things I was looking to do with Danielle, and I told her that when we first sat down. I said, look, my goal is to mentor you to the point to where you end up becoming my mentor. And of course, Danielle gives me that look, and she raises her eyebrow like, oh, okay. But she now understands what I mean by that, because she's been able to do and talk to people that I would have never come in contact with, because one, I didn't attend Virginia Tech. Two, I wasn't able, or I didn't have access to the people, places, and things that she has access to. So from the standpoint of a mentor, you want to do the same thing with your protege as a parent would want to do for their child. You know, allow your ceiling to become their floor, so therefore they can have a greater, higher foundation, if you will, and then they can go from there.
Most definitely. And so to say, I also want to add that you played a key part in my journey to winning the YFL scholarship, the Youth Financial Literacy Foundation scholarship, which was a $6,000 scholarship offered by Financial Education Services. I was blessed to win first place, and that included a 3-day all-expense-paid trip to Las Vegas, Nevada. And we celebrated that moment together. That was, I think, our first major accomplishment. Mm-hmm. That was our first major accomplishment. Like, I had never been to the West Coast. And so I didn't know what that experience with my sister, my mentor, having them side by side in that journey would turn into, but I think has foreshadowed our success in growth and development. I do want to just touch on, I guess, that conversation we had when you told me I needed to found Dough for Degrees.
So we was having a conversation. We was talking about the scholarship process, and I didn't know too much about it. I know my daughter had applied for some scholarships. She had won some scholarships, but her success with the scholarship was basically a one and done. She had got a full ride, paid for room, board, and all that. So it wasn't a situation to where she had to keep reapplying. So I knew very little about scholarships. So when Danielle started telling me about what she was doing and what the process was, I'm like, this is a business opportunity for her. And so what I did was I mentioned to her, I was like, hey, have you ever thought about turning it into a business? And she just looked at me like, no. So when I sat down with her and I explained to her, I was like, well, here's the thing. You're already doing the work. I said, so if you can just document your success and your failures and package it together so people can see exactly what it's going to take to get you to that level so they can then graduate debt-free like you have, then what you've done is you've created a form of intellectual property, if you will, that is going to be able to continue to pay you over and over and over again, because that is a story that everyone wants to know about. And because you will be your first client, that will be what propels you, because you know the first success story is always the best success story. That's the one that you can always repeat and go over again. And so she was like, okay. And that's pretty much how we started. We did the paperwork that day, found a Dough for Degrees, and been off and running ever since.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're fast forwarding. If y'all can't tell, we're speeding through the timeline because I don't want to make this video an hour long. But I do want to give you all a peek into our relationship and a peek into our journey to success together. There was one conversation, and I've mentioned this before on my channel, that we had when I almost dropped out of college. And that conversation is like one of my favorite stories of my college experience, because they literally, my sister and Mr. Thomas, they stepped in and they stood in the gap for me, because I was getting ready to quit everything. And it's my sister's fault. Like, it's my sister's fault. No, sis, I play. I love you with all my heart. But my sister knows me. I'm a very driven and goal-oriented person. I need a target. Once I have a target, I'll go after it, because I love work. It runs in my bloodline. We are workaholics. We'll work and work and work, and we think nothing of it. That's just how my family's built. And Mr. Thomas is the same way. That's why we get along so well. And I was visiting her and Mr. Thomas for Dough for Degrees. I think I was on an internship. It was summer or winter. And I went up there, and my sister loves audiobooks. She plays audiobooks in the car. And we both love to read. Shout out to my Grandma Jeffers. She instilled that in both of us. The journey, well, the love for knowledge, the love for learning, the love for hearing stories from other people's perspectives. And so she played this book, The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco. And she was in the middle of it. And that's one of my favorite books now, because it woke me up. He talks about the slow lane, the middle lane, the fast lane to success and wealth. Like, you can't work a minimum wage job and expect to make $1 million. But you can take control of your life and be an entrepreneur, a business owner, and generate the level of income that you would like to generate and have all that freedom. And so hearing that, someone break it down so clearly, intrigued me. And so I was like, sis, what's your Audible login? Like, let me get that so I can finish listening to that book. She gave it to me. I finished the book. I think I called y'all a week later and was like, I'm about to quit school.
Yeah. That was a rough week. Because at this particular point in time, you're in your sophomore year, right?
Yes.
And things are moving. Things are progressing. You're getting the scholarships. You're getting the money. And, you know, like every adult or someone coming into adulthood, life is coming at you, and now you're dealing with adult problems, adult challenges on the academic level, the business level, and also the family level. Everybody always has challenges on all three fronts, if those are the fronts that you're dealing with. But what separates most people is that most people that are successful don't share the bad news with everybody. So people make the assumption that just because you don't say anything, that everything is fine, everything's perfect. That's that persona that's projected. So at that particular time, Danielle was going through a lot of things like most people are. And she placed that call and was like, yeah, I'm quitting school. And my first instinct was to be like, you can't do it. I don't think it's a good idea. And I looked at it I had to look at it from a different perspective, because one thing I know is you never tell somebody what they shouldn't and what they can't do, because then they'll try to go out and prove you wrong. So I had to help her look at it from this perspective. I was like, what was the purpose of you setting up your business? She's like, so I can help people graduate from school debt free. And I was like, graduate, right? She's like, yeah. I was like, so why did you attend Virginia Tech? Because I wanted to graduate and get a degree. I was like, graduate, right? She's like, yeah. I was like, well, you do realize it's called dough for degrees, not dough for dropouts. I said, that's going to be very difficult for you to sell, because you got these scholarships and then you dropped out. I was like, so what are you telling people? I was like, so what is your brand? Because now your brand has to change. So she reluctantly thought about it. And, she ultimately made the right decision. And that time, from that moment on to now, seems like only a small blip in time. But that major decision, that one decision that seemed so small and insignificant, pretty much changed the trajectory of her business and her work ethic.
Most definitely. But talk about what you all did to ensure that I did not drop out of Virginia Tech.
So we had a Friday, we called it a Friday business call. But more was like a Friday check-in to see how everything was going in school. Because the first thing we talk about is, how's school? Are you doing your homework? Are you finishing your homework? Are you turning all your assignments in? Is there anything that you want to talk about or you want to vent about? Because what we realized is that she needed somebody that she could vent to. She needed somebody that was listening, that would understand, because at the end of the day, people associate with people that are like them. And there were very few people going through the process like she was at Virginia Tech. I mean, it's just not something that most people do. Run a full-time business and go to school full-time. So that was a unique situation. So we wanted to be the support there for her so that she can get it off her chest, share the information with us, allow us to give her some insight, give her some things to think about. Also, be in her ear to continue to encourage her, to let her know that even though it's 2 years left of school, in the grand scheme of things, it's not really that much time. But when someone's in it and they're going through it, they don't want to hear like that light at the end of the tunnel is not a train, but it's a light. To them, it seems like a train, and it seems like it's so far off. So our job was to encourage her, if not on a week-to-week basis, minimally on a day-to-day basis, to make sure that, and ensure that she can be strong enough, which she eventually was, because it only took like probably about a good 3-4 weeks, and then she was back on track.
Yes, but I hope you all have enjoyed this conversation. This is the first of many on this YouTube channel, but I wanted to introduce you all to my mentor, Thomas Harrelson. He's also the Chief Development Officer for Dough for Degrees, and we are business partners. We have 6 companies together.
Yeah, something like that. What 3 nonprofits, 3 for-profits?
Yeah, it's a lot. We're building an empire, y'all. But to sum it up, I want to say that if you want to go far, go together. If you want to go fast, go alone. You need a team. He taught me that early. You need a team. And as someone who grew up as an only child, because my sister and I, we're 19 years apart, I was so used to doing things by myself, and like life would throw different circumstances and situations at me. I didn't have time to try to find someone to help me get through it. I just had to figure it out immediately. But that process of learning how to trust someone with my heart, learning how to trust someone with with me, like to guide me in the right direction, has taught me that God will place the people in your life who you need to meet. It's your job to allow him to guide you and allow him to shape you and mold you into the person you're supposed to be. And so I'm just grateful for our relationship a lot, grateful for my relationship with my sister and our joint relationship between the 3 of us. And find a mentor. As hard as that sounds, because people hate to hear that, like, how do I find a mentor? You all know I come from a very spiritual perspective when I talk about things, and so I'll give you the spiritual and the natural perspective. Spiritually, pray on it. Ask God to place them in your life and make it so plain and clear that it's evident and it's hard to deny that that's the person who's supposed to guide you in the right direction. Naturally, I'll say that you need to identify what you need from someone. You can't just go to someone and say, hey, I need a mentor. Okay, they may not be able to mentor you into where you want to be or where you want to go. Find out if you have common interests. See how they act and interact with other people, because eventually you'll take on their habits and their characteristics naturally because you're going to spend so much time with them. And so identify exactly what you want to accomplish, and look for people who can help you accomplish that, who have like minds and who've endured and overcome certain things so that they can teach you how to do the same thing. You want to have anything you want to add to that?
I mean, that was well said.
Thank you.
In addition to that, reach out to them, sign up for their newsletters. If they have a book, purchase the book. Follow them through any social media platform that you can. Find out as much about them as you can, and if and when the opportunity happens, when you're able to meet them, talk about the things that they're passionate about, and always look to see if there's anything that you can do to help them.
That last thing he said was critical. We're actually going to shoot another video. We're going to end this video and come and shoot another video on what he just said. Is there anything I can do to help you? Thank you for joining us for this video of Dope for Degrees YouTube channel. Make sure you watch the other videos on the channel and the upcoming videos. Subscribe for more information, more content. We'll see you soon.
Take care.